Hey everybody, it's DisThunder, even though it sounds a little nasally for DisThunder. But today we are here to take a look at the Mezco 112 Collective Deadpool from the Deadpool and Wolverine movie of last year or the year before. It's all starting to kind of blend together. For the sake of this review, I'm going to ask you to forgive the fact that I can't seem to shake this cold, and I was trying to wait till I got a little bit of my voice back to normal, but this is about as good as it's going to get. And also that we're going to dispense with some of the usual pleasantries on here because it's Deadpool. There's not a whole lot you don't know about Deadpool if you are even tangentially connected to this particular pop culture section. So with that out of the way, what I can tell you is this figure is quite good. This is, of course, based on his appearance in the movie, the third installment. And, of course, the third installment uses probably the most comic accurate of the Deadpool costumes we've seen so far. And so it's kind of a win-win in that regard. So if you're not like a big MCU guy, this still passes as a pretty realistic comic verse Deadpool if you want to use him that way. He has a great textured suit, very similar to the Netflix Daredevil figure from many, many years ago, although they are considerably more refined than that one was. Obviously, they've come a long way since then. Another little side point I want to make mention of is I really like this figure's build. He is kind of unassuming. He's a little slighter than I was expecting, but he's also taller than the comic Deadpool, so it makes him kind of unique on a shelf. He has his own unique silhouette, which I appreciate. Also like how all of his belts and bandoliers are all nicely attached to each other using elastic and just nice, intelligent, interconnected pieces. So the belts don't ride up, the thigh drop holsters don't fall down, etc., etc. And having mentioned that, let's jump into some size comparisons here briefly. Here is, of course, the three comic Deadpools that have preceded this figure. And as you can see, he is a bit taller, about the same shoulder width, but maybe a little bit skinnier. This is also a great visual representation of just how far Mezco has come in their body design. The silhouette on the new Deadpool is just a lot cleaner and a lot more, well, it's based on cinema, but it's more realistic looking. It has just better proportions overall, I would say. And I also feel like Deadpool's costume is one of those that definitely benefits from the extra texturing of the cinematic style. It just gives them a little bit more visual interest, and I actually like the deeper red that this costume uses as well. Since we don't have our Wolverine figure to match just yet, although it sounds like he's probably not too far away, here is the Iron Warrior third-party figure, who is a little on the tall side, but still pretty cool looking. Depends on how you like your Hugh Jackman Wolverines. I mean, the dude is over 6 foot. We made peace with that, 25 years ago. But even in that case, I think this is still a little big for side-by-side. I mentioned the Netflix Daredevil because this was the first thing I thought of when I saw this figure, and here they are side-by-side. And I have to say, this Deadpool really kind of ups the bar as far as those more realistic cinematic costumes go. Daredevil's not a bad-looking figure, but he looks a little baggy by comparison. He's also a little bit on the small side, as, scale has slowly creeped up throughout 112 and everything else that we collect. Which brings me nicely around to Supreme Knight Batman, who is still taller and broader, as you would expect. Although it's kind of funny, with each Mezco release we've had since this figure in 2020, they're all kind of gaining on him in terms of size and height. It's almost like maybe we need a revisit of big, cranky old man Batman figures from 112 Collective in the near future or something. I don't know, just saying. Moving into accessories, we start with his weapons. We have 2 katana, 2 micro Uzis, throwing knife, we actually have a few extras of those as well, and 2 of the black Desert Eagle 50 cals. Don't get me wrong, gold ones would have been cool, but I think the black looked great. I like the little touches like the safety and the stippling on the grips. And I especially like the working slide. Sorry for kind of a shitty close-up there, but you get the idea. It actually works correctly. That is how the slide on the Desert Eagle should work. He comes with a mug, and that mug also works with the gripping hands that also are useful for other things. But I like the mug, and the mug likes me. Among his variant hands, you also have 2 of these baby knife hands where he has it tucked between his first and second knuckle on each hand. And they plug in just like you would expect any variant Mezco hand to do. He comes with a decent selection of hands, but I wouldn't have minded a few more expressive or maybe a little bit vulgar hands. That would be kind of a nice touch. And last but certainly not least, he comes with Dogpool. Now this is just a solid piece of plastic. This doesn't have any articulation to speak of, and frankly I don't think it really needs any. but they did a great job on the detailing and the texture of the costume here as well. Now, the party trick for this Deadpool figure are the magnetic interchangeable eyepieces. The magnets on these work surprisingly well. They stay very securely. There's no risk of them popping out as you move the figure. There's 3 sets of eyes, so you can make him have wide eyes, eye slits, raising an eyebrow, and of course you can mix and match between them. There are numbers on them in case you get them mixed up, which I've done several times. And really, that means the only thing that he's maybe lacking would be a variant unmasked head, but I think this kind of makes up for it in terms of just versatility. Mezco is no stranger to using magnets in their figures, but this works exceptionally well, and this would be a good way to do future figures with like interchangeable faceplates or expressions, rather than have interchangeable heads for every figure. Moving over to articulation, there's really nothing here that you don't expect, and it all works for the most part pretty well. You've got a good double-jointed neck that allows for a lot of expressive poses, especially combined with the interchangeable eyepieces. There is a slight butterfly. I almost hesitate to call it a butterfly. It's more just a socket for that ball-jointed shoulder that allows for a little bit of back and forth, but it's nothing to write home about. Double-jointed elbow, bicep swivel, and of course the ball-jointed wrists, as we are familiar with. All that works pretty well with the suit, I would say. For the torso, not a ton of crunch. A lot of that is probably due to the harness and the way the harness is attached to the belt and to the sheaths on the back. That's going to limit it just by sake of design. For the legs, you have a pretty good range on the ball-jointed hip, good 90 degree, and you can see that the elastic on those holsters allows for it to move without it bunching up or sliding off. Double-jointed knee with the integrated pad, not too shabby. And of course, the new style ball-jointed ankles, which also work well. There is a bit of a boot swivel, but it's pretty tight, but I guess you could, break it loose if you really needed it. Overall, pretty solid. In the interest of keeping this brief, A, because we don't really need to cover any background on Deadpool, and B, because I don't want to make you guys listen to me being all plugged up any more than you absolutely have to, we'll kind of roll into final thoughts here real quick. And it's an easy one because this is a great figure that really does probably the best job I've seen so far of capturing the look of movie Deadpool. And like I said in the beginning, that's kind of a double win because this costume design lends itself so easily to the comic universe that if for some reason, well, and to be fair, you don't really probably have a very big cinematic Marvel Mezco collection, so that means this guy can easily pull double duty and you get a lot more mileage out of the figure just by how versatile it is. As it sits right now, Deadpool is on the wait list for Mezco Toys, but thankfully I think this figure was pretty available, and I think the secondary prices and secondary outlets are not too terrible on this, at least not yet. I think there's a fair amount of this figure out there, although I would not wait too long if you're interested, especially with Wolverine dropping so soon. So with that all being said, thank you for bearing with me. Thank you to Mezco Toys for sending this along, and we will meet up again here shortly to talk some more figures. Hopefully some Nightwing and some Red Hood stuff here soon. So take care.